If you walked into a room and completely forgotten why you're there, so word mid-sentence that you've used 1,000 times, I have, or found yourself crying without being able to explain it to anyone, including yourself. Why? So I want you to know your brain hasn't broken, but something real is happening to it. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what. So the first thing I need you to understand is this. Estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone. It is a neuroprotective agent. Your brain depends on it in ways that go far beyond fertility. So let me walk you through 4 specific systems that estrogen supports in your brain. Because once you understand these, brain fog and mood changes will make complete physiological sense. First, cerebral blood flow. Estrogen promotes blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles working memory, decision-making, and executive function. Lower or fluctuating estrogen means reduced blood flow to the areas you rely on most for daily cognitive performance. Second, hippocampal neuroplasticity. The hippocampus is your brain's memory formation center, and estrogen supports its ability to form, strengthen, and retrieve neural connections. When estrogen fluctuates, this process is disrupted, which is why you find yourself rereading the same paragraph 3 times and still not retaining it. Third, neurotransmitter regulation. Estrogen modulates serotonin, dopamine, and acetylcholine. Those are the neurotransmitters involved in focus, mood stability, and memory. And when estrogen fluctuates, so does the balance of these systems simultaneously. And fourth, neuroprotection from inflammation. Estrogen has anti-inflammatory properties in the brain. It helps protect neurons from oxidative damage. As estrogen levels become erratic, the brain becomes more vulnerable to inflammatory processes, contributing to cognitive symptoms that accumulate over time. So now let's talk about mood, because this is where I see the most confusion and honestly the most dismissal. Mood changes during perimenopause are extremely common. Irritability that comes out of nowhere, emotional reactivity that surprises even you, and low mood that settles in for days. These are direct neurochemical effects of estrogen and progesterone fluctuation on the serotonin and GABA symptoms just described. These mood changes tend to have a pattern, often tied to the cycle, often worsening premenstrually or perimenstrually, often responding to hormonal stabilization. Clinical depression is something different, and it's important that we're able to distinguish between the two because they require different treatment. Clinical depression is characterized by persistent low mood or anhedonia. That's a loss of interest or pleasure in things you used to enjoy, present most of the day, nearly every day for at least 2 weeks. It typically includes changes in sleep, appetite, concentration, and energy, and in some cases, thoughts of self-harm. So here's the important nuance. Perimenopause is a period of elevated risk for clinical depression, particularly for a woman with a history of mood disorders, significant PMS, or postpartum depression. And the hormonal fluctuations of this transition can actually serve as a biological trigger for clinical level mood disorders in vulnerable individuals. And this is critical. You can have both hormonal mood fluctuations and clinical depression. They can coexist. Treating only one without evaluating the other leaves a real suffering unaddressed. So I want to close with a practical piece. For brain fog, research consistently shows that for most women, cognitive symptoms associated with the perimenopause transition improve as hormones stabilize, either naturally over time or with treatment. But it might get better eventually is not a care plan for right now. If your brain fog is affecting your work, your confidence, your safety, or your daily function, that warrants clinical evaluation. And there are options. Hormone therapy has strong evidence for cognitive symptom support during the transition. And sleep optimization, addressing the night sweats and cortisol dysregulation we talked about before, also directly improves cognitive function. For mood, track your symptoms alongside your cycle. Notice patterns. Notice whether you've lost interest in things you used to love. That specific symptom, anhedonia, is your signal to seek a more thorough evaluation rather than waiting. So bring that information to a clinician who takes midlife women's mental health very seriously, not just someone who will attribute everything to hormones without screening for clinical depression, and not someone who will treat you for depression without evaluating whether hormonal support may be part of the solution. You deserve both lenses. You deserve the complete picture. So if this gave you language for what you've been experiencing, please subscribe and share this video. This is the education every midlife woman deserves to have. We give new deep dives right here on my page. And if you're ready for personalized care that addresses both hormonal and the neurological picture, visit Osteopathic Midlife Health. I'm Dr. Rebbecca Hertel, and together we're going to make midlife make sense.